How are you today? How has your day been? Hey, look, tonight we're having a bit of an Indian kofta night. I know that sounds like a bit of a contrast, doesn't it? Isn't it like, I don't know, what are koftas? Are they Indian? Oh, maybe they are. I don't know. However, I am going to change this recipe up because those of you who've been watching me for a while know that I don't love coriander. And one of the key ingredients in this is coriander. So let's change this up and make it so that it's something that my family and I will enjoy. So do say hi if you're watching on. I know some of you guys will be coming on. I know I'm a bit early for some of you guys as well. I've got lots of stuff on this afternoon, so I thought I would pop on early. First things first is you'd normally make a broccoli rice to steam over the top. How yummy and tasty would that be? However, my kids will not eat that. So let's not even pretend they're going to. Let's skip that. Although it could also be cauliflower. It could be even a selection of veggies. You could do like a coleslaw to serve with. So it certainly doesn't have to be exactly broccoli in this step. Good afternoon, Carissa. Lovely to have you on. All right, next. So skip that over. And there we go. We're getting now into making the meatballs. So the first thing that goes in is a brown onion cut into halves. There is actually 2 onions in this recipe. Because you've got the one in the meatballs and then you've got the one in the sauce. So just be ready for 2 onions. Okay, fresh handful of coriander. So who are the coriander lovers in the room and who are the dislikers? If you don't like it, let me know. You are my people. If you do enjoy it, that's okay. I'll let you off the hook. I do love coriander ground, the seeds ground, but I do not like the green leaves. They do not taste right to me. I think I'd rather eat grass. So we're going to skip that. All right, 12 mint leaves. I do love mint. Okay, by the way, those of you who have ever avoided making the beetroot salad because it's got coriander, swap it with the mint leaves instead. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. And a bit of feta just makes it next level. Okay, red chili, gonna skip that as well. Okay, 2 teaspoons of coriander. Here we go. This I can do. So we're putting in all these beautiful spices. I do love the spice rack once we've got a Thermomix, how your kitchen is transformed and you can make so many amazing curries without having to go get anything else because you've got it already. All right, some salt, excuse me while I reach over. Set everything up for that picture. However, it's I didn't rearrange it afterwards, so it's all kind of pretty over there. Hello, Laura, lovely to see you on. It's been a while. So now some pepper. Let me see if I can find the pepper container without pulling you guys down. Oh, it's caught. There we go. Some pepper. And then I'm going to put the lid on. Oh, no, wait, one more egg. We've got an egg to go in. And then surely in a second we're going to be blitzing this down because at the moment we've got those whole leaves in and really you'd also have your coriander. Hello, Christine. Lovely to have you on this afternoon. Okay, 1 tablespoon of coconut flour. Here it is. And I reckon if you didn't have coconut flour and you're happy to, you could just swap in plain flour. Breadcrumbs, anything like that. It doesn't have to be coconut flour. I reckon this might have come out of maybe the low carb cookbook just because it's served with broccoli rice. That kind of indicates to me that it could be from that book. And that's why I reckon they've gone the coconut flour. But honestly, breadcrumbs, rolled oats, yeah, flour, just your standard plain flour, gluten-free flour, rice flour, they would all do. 1 tablespoon. It's just a binder to hold it together. Okay, on with the lid, and it's got 5 seconds to be fine. It's going to chop all this down. And now we move on to adding our mince. So these are steamed meatballs on top, which I do really like. But if you've not tried them and you've kind of written the recipe off, whether it be this or the meatballs with the tomato sauce recipe, because they're steamed, give it a go. They are amazing steamed. They are so soft, so full apart in your mouth, just beautiful. They do not need to be braised off in a pan. Okay, let's have a look at that. There you go. Looks amazing in there. And now, next, obviously if you've got a whole bunch of coriander, yours is going to look a lot greener as well. Okay, and now it's going to blitz it again. I don't want to blitz it again. I reckon that's okay for me. Okay, next up, 500 grams of lamb mince. Now, if you want to mince your own lamb down, you certainly could at this point. And all you'd want to do is be putting in chunks, so about yay big. But make sure it hasn't got a huge amount of gristle or fat in it because the Thermomix, unless it's frozen, will struggle to get through that gristle or fat. It'll just wrap around and, well, it'll get through, but it doesn't do a nice job because it wraps around the blades and it is messy to clean up as well. So I've got probably about 700, I probably should look at the scales. I think it's about 700 grams in there. I just want to break it up. They were big slabs, so I'm just giving you a little very careful break up with the back of my knife in here. I am doing the back of my knife, just so that it gets down the blade shaft, so I don't end up with like last week where it was just a big chunk on top. There we go, 650 was mine. Okay, on with the lid, and now it's going to stir this through for us. From here, we've actually made our meatballs. That's how easy it is to make meatballs in the Thermomix. So simple. So divide the mixture into 24 portions, approximately 30 grams each, and shape into the balls. I'm going to come back and do that later, and I would suggest that if you're cooking along to this in the coming days, or even this afternoon, I would suggest as well, it's a really good time efficiency to put this aside now in your varoma and continue on with the recipe. Oh, there was a big mint leaf in there. Maybe I should have actually done a second blitz on speed 5. Oh well, should be right. So what you do, grab your varoma base. Oh, don't fall. There we go. Varoma base, because you're going to be filling this with meatballs later anyway. So grab your base, put this in there, this meat mix. And also, you guys, I reckon it'd be yummy with chicken or beef. Not sure about pork mince, but definitely with those others. I reckon it'd be beautiful, these koftas, with that as well. Although lamb does have a very unique flavour. Okay, so I'm going to scrape out most of it because I'm not going to wash this out, regardless of what the instructions tell me to do. However, if you have a second bowl, it's really handy to be able to mix and match it in. I'm saving my second bowl for dessert or something else later tonight. Because I kind of figure, what does it matter if a little bit of flavour from the meat gets in there. So, put that aside. Now we can cook times we can come up to later where we'll be able to shape them. And that's what you want to do at home, is you want to shape them while we've got the cook happening for the sauce. So, shows you how to. I love the videos on the TM6. Have you guys seen that the TM6 have integrated videos? So they literally will show you how to make that, which is cool. Clean and dry mixing bowl. Not going to do that. Okay, first things first is some ghee. Don't have any ghee, or I don't think I do, so I'm going with just olive oil. Seems like a fair bit. I'm going to stop a little short, because you can when you go to Thermomix. Okay, fresh ginger, 3 centimetres. I have my ginger paste at the moment that I'm using. I really should use the stuff out of my freezer, but anyway, next time. And that's probably about 15 grams, I'm guessing, that I've put in. Next up, 3 garlic cloves. I do have those. Okay, and 120 grams of brown onions cut into quarters. Mine's massive. It's probably more like 240, so twice as much as I need. Doesn't matter. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take it out. I'm going to take it out. I've got a big cook happening tomorrow, and I might want that in there. There you go. Not very many times you'll see me do that. Hey, I don't think I've ever done it. Okay, on with the lid. 5 seconds, speed 5 again. Let's chop that up. But yes, big cook happening tomorrow. Okay, next up, scrape down the sides. Insert the measuring cup. 5 minutes, 120 degrees, speed 1, and off it goes. Now this is your time, as we know, to prep the next lot of ingredients, which there is some spices. So we've got cumin, coriander, oh no, we've used the coriander, garam masala, oh, this one I can't pronounce, fungik? I don't know, the one that I can't pronounce, it starts with an F. Some turmeric. Now it says passata, 400 grams, I'm just using a tin of diced tomatoes. Now it has Kashmiri, oh, sorry guys, Kashmiri chili powder. Now that is important in this recipe. It is a mild chili powder, so if you are going to try and substitute something else in instead of Kashmiri, so you're going to use just a normal chili powder, a lot less. Whatever they ask for, go down to a 1/6 or an 1/8, because this is mild. This stuff's made on capsicums. It's beautiful. It's got a really unique flavour, but it's certainly not strong. So whatever they ask for, if you're going to use normal chili, pull it right down unless you are a lover of chili and your family. So there's that. And then we've got some yogurt. Now, you guys watched the other day my morning session where I showcased the amazing vacuum that's on offer at the moment when you're buying a Thermomix. And I showed you about my awesome yogurt making as well. So I've got that there ready for that, which will be really yummy. Good afternoon, Chris. How are you? So they're the sorts of things you want to be prepping. And then once you've got those things sorted, the next thing you want to be doing is rolling your meatballs. I'm putting it off, just saying. So I will do that, but I might wait till the next cook time once I've got everything in, because otherwise I'll have gross meaty hands and I can't put my spices in. So I will put off doing that as well. So, but no, they're the things you want to be prepping, grabbing out. Now just rewind back to mincing down your own meat, because I just got distracted and I didn't finish that off with you guys. To actually mince your own meat, you want chunks of meat about the size of a dice, a little bit bigger than a dice, like an actual dice you'd roll. And you want it, if it's really fatty and grainy and, I don't know, it's got gristle in it, freeze it. But you don't want it to be too dry. So things like chuck, they can be used in meatballs, but if you don't put it partly with a nice bit of meat, like a rump or a rib, it'll just be dry meatballs. They, you know, just because we're cooking them with steam and we're cooking them for 20 minutes and it's cooking moisture into them, but they really don't have flavour as a standalone. That's why normally when you use something like chuck in a slow cooker, you've got it with all those flavours and it's infusing over time, and those flavours are getting inside the meat. So when we've got that with the Thermomix, it doesn't particularly work with steam. They'll be as soft as you can expect for something that's quite a dry cut. However, the flavours going to be lacking. So I always say to people, if you want to use a cheap cut for meatballs, do so, but partner it with a nice cut. So it can be half and half, unless you're slow cooking, of course, and then by all means. But things like lamb and pork and chicken. So, you know, chicken thigh is really hard to mince down because it's got the big bits of fat that run along it. So it makes it quite challenging to mince down, especially if it's raw. But yeah, if you partially freeze it or freeze it, they mince down significantly easier. And to mince, turbo button, 3 to 5 times. That's all you got to do. So you're going to put your meat in, no more than 500 grams. That is pushing it. Okay, that's the upper limit, but anything under that, and you just want to use that turbo button 3 to 5 times, and then you'll have beautiful mince ready to keep going on with the recipe. And you could integrate that into this recipe. So I'm trying to think, there was a recipe recently for hamburger rolls where it actually was going to do that for us. So I actually had mince that day, so I didn't get to show you, but there are recipes there that will teach you how to do that. But 3 to 5 times you've minced your meat. All right, I'm going to stop this because I'm moving on. Time for the next step. It smells amazing, by the way. As you can see, it's 98 degrees inside, aiming for 120. And here we go on all these spices. So, 1 teaspoon. If you're ever not sure, 1 teaspoon and tablespoon. TS, S for small. TB, S, B. Look at the second letter. B is for big. Okay, so especially if you've got, I don't know, kids or husbands who get that confused, just tell them, always look at the second letter. The second letter is your answer. Now, if you're putting chili powder instead of Kashmiri, a pinch, all right, unless you really love chili. All right, 3 teaspoons of these things I can't pronounce. Okay, I don't know that I've actually got 3 teaspoons out. I'm just going to put all that I've got left in. They smell amazing, by the way. If you haven't tried those, give them a go. Here's tablespoons. See how it's got the big B? By the way, another random fact, 4 teaspoons equals a tablespoon. So 4 teaspoons is a tablespoon. Okay, so I was just hoping I was putting the right thing in. Yes, I am. By the way, garam masala you can make yourself in your Thermomix. There's a recipe on your basic cookbook, and there's another one as well in the Indian collection on Cookie Dough. Okay, half a teaspoon of salt, and we're nearly done. Some turmeric, and then cumin, I think, and 2 teaspoons of cumin. Love cumin. By the way, I forgot to put up last night's picture of dinner. I have it though, I just need to post it. Amazing. Just absolutely devoured by the kids. That fragrant chicken curry, really yummy. If you've not tried it or put it on your list to try, I would highly recommend put it on the list. Beautiful, beautiful recipe. We had it with brown rice and just really delicious. Okay, from here on in, we're going to, I'm just going to see if it's my time to roll these meatballs. So, off you go play. So, yogurt, water, the tomato paste, and then the koftas are going to steam. So we've got 2 minutes here. Let's get meatball rolling. Let's move this sideways a little bit. So, all we want to do, grab a chunk of meatballs. Depends on how many you want to make and how big. Just don't go too massive, otherwise they'll take extra cook time, which you may not want them to do. And all I'm doing is rolling them together. When I find a big bit of mint leaf, I'll take it out. I reckon you could hide other things in these meatballs. You know how I didn't put coriander in? I reckon you could be putting spinach leaves in, parsley, those sorts of things. I reckon would go really yummy in here without changing the flavour, because I think spinach will just take on the flavour of the food around it. So I certainly think that's a way as well. Good afternoon, Denise. Lovely to have you on. All right. You can see how quick and easy it is to get this done when you're thermomixing. I can't imagine a life doing it without a Thermomix. It would be so hard and so long, but because the Thermomix can do that stirring and cooking for us, it means we've got the hands-free time to do this. Now these meatballs are going to steam first, then you'll see it tells you to put them aside in a thermoserver to keep warm, and then from there it actually tells you to put in the varoma your broccoli. I won't need to do that step later in 20 minutes time because we're not doing the broccoli portion. So it also gives you that freedom to maybe put other veggies on top, or just that's the end of the recipe. Like if you get to that stage and you don't need to put broccoli on top, you've already taken the meat component off, so it will actually be complete. My other thought at the moment as I roll these meatballs is there's actually capacity here for certainly making more. I mean, mine was more than the 500 grams, but I reckon you can actually probably double that. The only thing you'd have to do is make sure that you put your spatula through the lid as it's combining, so that it doesn't, so that it mixes through and doesn't just stay in two separate parts. I've got another little person at the door today. It seems to be the day for it. All right, nearly done. So, 4 more to roll, I think, or 5 more to roll, and we'll move on the recipe. Off you go. Go play.
I want to watch.
You want to watch? We're going to watch quietly. Can you do that? Yeah. Okay. So, here we go. I am going to need to wash my hands, everybody. Sorry. Best laid plans. I'm still going to have to wash my hands. Ugh. Meaty hands. Although in saying that, you know, if I wasn't putting stuff in the Thermomix, most of you guys know that you can actually touch the speed dial. I wonder if it does it in a guided recipe. Hang on, I might be overthinking this. Will it do it in a guided? Yeah, see how in a guided recipe, let me just fix this camera up before I wash my hands. Can you stop playing with the door, please? Thank you. Instead of touching the screen with my meaty hands, I can actually push the speed button, the selector, and see how it's rotating through my dials. It's got time, temperature, speed. So that's really handy as well. Although I have to touch some things, so I'm going to wash my hands. 2 seconds, everybody. Okay, last steps. So that made, let me tell you how many meatballs I've got. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I've got 24. There we go. Spot on what they called for on the recipe. All right, let's keep going. 240 grams of yogurt. So in this goes. Let me just see. The comments have gone down off the page. Oh, Denise, I love that you have made this recipe and it was yummy. That is really good to know. Toby, can you get me a big spoon, please? Thank you. And hello, Karen. Lovely to have you on. It's been a while since I've seen you. I hope all has been well. So we've got the yogurt coming up. Actually, let me just show you the texture of the yogurt. There was a question yesterday about the yogurt. And this is beautiful. Look at that. Okay, nice and thick. In it goes. I do use milk powder in my recipe though. So when I follow the Varoma style yogurt recipe on Cookie Do, I do change how it finishes, but I do follow the actual steps on the yogurt recipe. Oh, a little bit heavy. So yes, and by the way, the very end of this recipe calls for cream. Excuse me, you need to stop playing with the door, please. It calls for cream and it's 2 tablespoons. I'm just going to put a little bit more yogurt into it. I'm not going to buy cream specifically to finish this recipe with. 50 grams of water. And that goes, can I get, there you go. 41 will do. And then passata, or for us, diced tomatoes will do. Okay, in that goes. I wish they kind of did that step the other way around. If you guys are watching replay later, do it the other way around. Put your 50 grams of water in your tomato tin and get rid of the rest of your tomato stuff out, because otherwise it gets wasted in there. All right, so just a little tip. Got 20 grams wasted. All right, on with my lid. Let's bring it back out from underneath. And it says to put the koftas into position. And 20 minutes for Roma speed 1. And it says to extend the cooking time by 5 minutes if required. My guess is at this size, they will cook in 20 minutes quite easily. Just from my time at cooking meatballs at demos. The meatballs with tomato sauce we used to do at demos. 20 minutes is long enough. to cook those on top. You'll then see the last step after that, so to take the meatballs aside, put them in a thermoserver, put the broccoli rice that I didn't do today into that. It would cook for 3 to 5 minutes. Then you add the little bit of cream to the sauce and serve it up. It's as simple as that. So, and by the way, guys, it smells amazing. This room at the moment, I think that's why the kids keep turning up. Smells absolutely amazing. So if you've not done this recipe, Denise recommends it. Put it on the to-do list and then share your photos when you do. I'd love to see it. Those of you sharing your photos, remember to hashtag BrizThermoCookoff. Because, yeah, you can go in the running to win a mix shop voucher, which is pretty cool as well. So, have a fantastic afternoon and evening. Let me know if I can help you with anything regarding your Thermomix. If friends and family are curious because you're feeding them your food and they're asking questions, let's do a demo. We can do them virtually or face-to-face. But yes, otherwise, I hope you'll give this recipe a go. It's been lots of fun talking with you guys this afternoon. Thank you, ladies, for coming on today. It's so lovely to have people to say hi to. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.